I'm going to show you exactly how attackers get into Wi-Fi networks, why most people's security is surprisingly weak, and what you should do right now to stay protected. Everything in this video is strictly for educational purposes. Accessing, testing, or hacking any system, device, or network without clear written permission from the owner is illegal and can lead to serious criminal charges. Here's what many people don't realize about Wi-Fi security. When you connect to a wireless network, your data is literally being transmitted through the air. Anyone nearby can potentially intercept it. The only thing standing between you and them is encryption. And in many cases, that encryption is weak, poorly configured, or breakable with the right methods. There are 4 main types of Wi-Fi networks you'll come across. Open networks with no password. WEP encrypted networks, which are outdated and broken. WPA and WPA2 networks, which are used by most home routers. And WPA3, the latest standard that many people still haven't upgraded to. Each type has different ways it can be attacked. Some can be cracked in seconds, others take longer. Some rely on social tricks instead of technical exploits. But here's the reality. Almost all of them can be compromised if the attacker knows what they're doing. I'm going to explain how each attack works so you understand the risks and can actually defend yourself. Because if you don't understand how attacks happen, you can't stop them. And if you're learning cybersecurity, Wi-Fi hacking is a core skill. It teaches you about wireless protocols, encryption flaws, packet capturing, password cracking, and network analysis, skills that honestly apply everywhere. WEP cracking, the old vulnerability. WEP stands for Wired Equivalent Privacy. It's an encryption standard from 1997. It's been broken for over 2 decades, yet you'd be surprised how many networks still use it. Why? Because people set up routers once and never update settings. Small businesses buy cheap routers with WEP as default. Older devices only support WEP. The reasons vary, but the outcome is the same. Here's how it works. The attacker switches their wireless card into monitor mode, allowing them to capture all traffic nearby, not just their own. They use a tool like AeroDump to collect packets from the target WEP network. WEP has a critical flaw in how it creates encryption keys. It uses an initialization vector, or IV, that's only 24 bits long, meaning it repeats often. By gathering enough packets with repeated IVs, the encryption key can be mathematically recovered. This is called IV collection. The attacker needs around 20,000 to 80,000 packets. On a busy network, this takes about 5 minutes. On a quiet one, they speed it up with packet injection, sending fake traffic to generate more packets. Once enough data is collected, they use a tool like KRACK to analyze it and recover the key. The math is complex, but the tools automate everything. You just run a command and wait. Within minutes, the password is revealed. So, I tested this myself in a lab setup. It took about 7 minutes to crack a 64-bit WEP key and around 12 minutes for 128-bit. Honestly, key length barely matters because the algorithm itself is just, well, fundamentally flawed. The solution here is really simple. Never use WEP. If your router only supports it, just replace it. They're cheap. And if a business still uses WEP, they're basically exposing their network to anyone with basic tools. While WEP cracking is often the first thing beginners learn, it's mostly outdated now as usage is finally declining. Now, WPA cracking. That's the real challenge. WPA and WPA2 are what most homes and businesses use these days. They're much stronger than WEP, but still vulnerable if the password is weak. There are 2 main attack types: Handshake capture and PMKID attacks. Let's break them down. The handshake capture method works like this. When a device connects to a WPA network, it performs a 4-way handshake with the router. This handshake includes a hashed version of the Wi-Fi password. If you capture it, you can attempt an offline brute force attack. The attacker enables monitor mode, uses AeroDump to observe the network, and waits for a device to connect, or forces one to reconnect using deauthentication packets. This triggers the handshake again, which gets captured. Now they have a file containing the encrypted password hash. They take it offline and use tools like Hashcat with a password list. The tool tests millions of passwords per second, hashing each and comparing it. If the password is weak, like password 123 or a default router key, it cracks instantly. But if it's random and longer, it can take hours, days, or even become practically impossible. Strong passwords, 15 or more random characters, are effectively safe. The newer method is PMKID. This is simpler because you don't need a full handshake. You only need one frame from the router when attempting to connect. That frame contains the PMKID, which is, derived from the password. From there, the same brute force process applies. Weak passwords fall quickly, strong ones don't. The key advantage for attackers is that after capturing the data, everything else is offline. They don't need to interact with the network again, and the victim won't even know. The defense is straightforward. Use a strong password. At least 15 characters, including uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols, completely random. If your password is solid, these attacks won't work. Before moving on to advanced Wi-Fi attacks, here's the issue with learning hacking from YouTube. You watch videos, understand ideas, but when you try yourself, things break. Tools fail, commands don't work, and you get stuck. That's why I created the Hacker Academy. When you join, you get the Pro Hacker Starter Kit. Over 70 pages of tested cheat sheets, working commands, essential tools, and real techniques. But honestly, the real value comes from weekly live Q&A sessions. You can ask anything. Stuck on a challenge? Bring it. Building a tool? We'll debug it. Got an interview? We'll practice. It's a community focused on real results. Join the Hacker Academy. It's the fastest way to learn practical hacking skills with people who actually help you grow. The link is in the description. See you there. Beyond basic cracking, there are more advanced Wi-Fi attacks used by professionals. WPS Attacks. WPS stands for Wi-Fi Protected Setup. It allows connection using a button or an 8-digit PIN. The issue is that PIN can be brute forced. Due to how it's designed, there are only about 11,000 combinations. Tools like Reaver can crack it in 2 to 10 hours. Once cracked, the real Wi-Fi password is revealed. The fix is simple. Just disable WPS completely. Rogue access point attacks involve creating a fake network that's identical to the real one. It's got the same name, a similar signal, and is placed nearby. Devices often, just connect to the strongest signal automatically. Most users don't notice anything at all. But now the attacker controls the traffic, capturing logins, injecting malware, or even running man-in-the-middle attacks. This kind of thing is, honestly, pretty common in crowded areas like offices or apartments. KRACK attacks exploit a flaw in WPA2 itself, not the password. By manipulating how encryption keys are installed, attackers can decrypt traffic, hijack sessions, and inject data. It's a complex attack, but it's definitely effective on unpatched devices. Wi-Fi pineapple attacks actually use a dedicated device that's, designed for penetration testing. It automates evil twin attacks, captures handshakes, performs man-in-the-middle attacks, and even logs traffic. It's a legitimate tool, but yeah, it can definitely be misused. The takeaway here is simple. Wi-Fi security is far more complicated than most people realize. There are protocol flaws, software bugs, weak configurations, and honestly, human errors. Skilled attackers have a lot of options. So how do you defend yourself? For home users, here's what you should do immediately. First, check your router's encryption. Log into the admin panel. If it says WEP, switch to WPA2 or WPA3 right away. Second, set a strong Wi-Fi password, at least 15 characters, and avoid dictionary words. Strong passwords really do stop most attacks. Third, disable WPS. It's unnecessary and honestly, kind of risky. Fourth, change your router's admin password. Default credentials are publicly available, which makes it way too easy for attackers. Fifth, update your router firmware. Manufacturers fix known vulnerabilities in updates, so this is important. Sixth, consider hiding your SSID. It won't stop serious attackers, but it does reduce casual attempts and keeps your network a bit less visible.